We know how valuable service dogs can be for people with physical disabilities. Now, as Debbie found out, they're also helping veterans struggling with the psychological scars of war.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The thing is, when a blind person or someone using a wheelchair enters a public building with a service dog, no one gives them a second glance. They understand that the dog has a right to be there. But service dogs are now helping people whose disabilities are not quite so obvious. And when they show up in a public place, the reaction is often not so friendly. War veterans often have memories that are all but impossible to forget.
There were moments of just sheer terror. I thought for sure on many occasions I was not coming home.
Retired Army Captain Luis Montalvan spent 2 tours of duty in Iraq, an experience that left him with post-traumatic stress disorder.
I slept 2 hours a night, of course flashbacks and panic attacks.
Last year, Montalvan received a new form of therapy. A service dog named Tuesday, who's been specially trained to help combat veterans.
He calms me. He knows if I'm feeling stressed, and he will proactively do something about it.
Montalvan, who also suffered brain trauma and a back injury while serving, says Tuesday helps him feel it's safe to go outside.
Before I had Tuesday, I could hardly leave my apartment. He's trained to buffer himself, for example, between myself and others.
A lot of these soldiers have lost trust in their environment, and these dogs can actually be a bridge.
Psychologist CYNTHIA CROSSON helps run a program that trains dogs and then places them with soldiers with PTSD.
They immediately trust the dog, and that helps to develop that trust again, and then maybe they can transfer that to human beings.
A recent survey found that 82% of PTSD patients reported that their symptoms decreased after being assigned a service dog, and 40% say they needed less medication. How much better can their life be with one of these service dogs?
I think it can be a great deal better. It helps them with their anxiety, it helps them with flashbacks.
Many veterans with PTSD need their service dogs with them at all times, which can cause problems. Service dogs are now being used to help people with all kinds of disabilities, those with epilepsy, children with autism, even diabetics. But these are considered invisible disabilities, and their service dogs are often mistaken for pets.
It's a huge frustration, and it's almost daily.
By law, service dogs must be allowed in all public buildings, but restaurant and store owners often don't know the law and refuse to let them in.
I've had people throw me out, threaten to call the police.
Montalvan hopes that public awareness of the rights of service dogs can be raised because, he says, dogs like Tuesday are healing the wounds of war.
Tuesday is helping me in everything that I do. Love is not enough of a word. I owe Tuesday my life. I owe Tuesday my future.
It really is so amazing, but I've seen the difficulty that Luis Montalvan has entering public buildings firsthand. With his service dog, we went to a coffee shop and immediately a clerk asked us to leave, and even at the CBS Broadcast Center, the security desk did not want to let him into the building for our interview. So he faces this every day.
Even with the patches on the dog's back that advertise this is a service dog, that was still the reaction?
A lot of people, first of all, don't recognize the patch because there's not a uniform symbol, there's not a uniform vest for all dogs, and a lot of people are just not well informed about the Americans with Disability Act and don't realize that if it's a service dog, they have to be allowed in, whether it's the bus, a cab, restaurant, that kind of thing. So on top of his challenges, he faces that frustration as well.
What a great story, right? And this, the interaction between the two of them.
It's amazing. They have a close bond that literally saved his life.